Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. Hare Krishna. So today we are discussing the topic of heart transformation by association from the story of a hunter by the name Mrgari. So there is this word transformation, right? So the word transformation means what is the word mean? Hmm? Yeah, change or complete change, right? Uh, and this happens in the life of a person through association, right? So that is the learning we are going to have. What is the importance of association? We learn, right? So before that, I would like to inform about the story of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, who was the founder, Mataji. We have a Srila Prabhupada disciple here, which is our great fortune today, Srimati Mataji. Welcome, Mataji. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So when Srila Prabhupada was a young man, he was in his 20s, he once meets his guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And that was the first meeting. In that first meeting itself, Srila Prabhupada, until then he was totally dedicating his life to freedom fight. Right? So at that time there is this Indian freedom fight movement going on. He was very committed to it. But at that time when he meets, he directly hears from his spiritual master. I mean, he's not a spiritual master at the time, but the words of his, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur completely transform his life's purpose and goal. So that is how the association of an advanced devotee or a Vaishnava does to one's life. Hmm? So at the time Prabhupada inquires, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. So he inquires his guru, who would really bother about your Krishna conscious movement? This is now the country is on fire. We're all fighting for freedom, and we are not an independent nation. So how would we convince anybody outside about the philosophy of Gita? And to that, his guru Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur says, Krishna consciousness doesn't need to wait for anything. It's an emergency. Today, British is ruling. Tomorrow, somebody else will rule. German. Later on, there are so many others who tried to subjugate India. Right? China tried to subjugate Germany. Many other countries. And in the past, also Mughals tried to rule. So that political thing will go on. This is priority. And as an Indian, this is our prerogative to actually spread this wisdom. And on that day, Prabhupada committed himself to this goal, lifelong goal. So that was, one meeting with his guru completely transformed his life. So he has committed to this lifelong goal to actually spread the wisdom of Gita all over the world. So that was, one story we can understand. Now we'll go to a story of, our scripture Bhagavatam. By the way, so there is this, one interviewer asked Srila Prabhupada, how one can recognize a true follower of Krishna conscious movement. Huh? So that to that, Prabhupada replied in one word: a Krishna conscious follower is a perfect gentleman. What does that mean? Perfect gentleman means a person who follows four regulative principles. Right? Because once you follow those four regulative principles, what are those? No meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication. Yeah, once you follow that, your life is very simple and clean. Okay? So that's a perfect gentleman, right? Yeah. So that is actually what? That is actually transformation of heart. Because unless there is a change in heart, one cannot really commit to following these four regulative principles. Hmm? Hmm. It's not like this is this is followed only by a devotee. It can be followed in the mode of goodness as well. But Krishna consciousness begins on the platform of mode of goodness. This is like a bare minimum base requirement for one to become Krishna conscious. After that, actually he develops a relation with God, right? So that is further from there. Yeah, yeah. So only in human form of life can we actually transform our life. In other forms of life, an animal worries about eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. It stops there. It doesn't do anything further from there. But a human can actually transform his life, right? So when I say transform, what all so the transformations are like this, right? So these are the qualities that at a base level a human has: lust, arrogance, cruelty, revengeful, duplicity, envy, selfishness, rigidity. So when you transform yourself, all these wonderful qualities manifest: selflessness, calm, adaptability. You're not um, greedy, you're satisfied and contented, you're very respectful. So that's what it means by transformation, heart transformation. Yeah. And a devotee becomes very compassionate, right? That is the second nature of a devotee. So for example, when we see in India especially, we see a lot of times animals are carried for slaughterhouses, right? It's dealt very badly. A compassionate jiva cannot tolerate that. Um, so that's one herd transformation, right? So we'll see here what a herd transformation, we can just match these are the qualities, base level qualities everybody has. So we are all here learning this knowledge so that our heart, that's the whole purpose of the exercise of learning this wisdom, right? So now let's identify the qualities here and to which we want to convert that, right? So for example, lust is here. Love is the quality that we want to transform it to. Yeah. Arrogance. Hmm? Humility. Yes. Yeah. Humility. So a devotee exhibits humility. Yeah. A materialistic person, generally arrogant. Not necessarily, but sometimes. Cruelty. Compassion. Yeah. Revengeful. Quality of forgiveness. Yes. Yeah. Duplicity. Simplicity. Yeah. Thank you. Envy. Abundance. Very good. Yeah. You are envying somebody because you don't have and somebody else has, and you think you will not have it if he has. So abundance means God has arranged for everybody's maintenance. I don't need to worry about my maintenance separately. God has arranged, so I'll be arranged for two. Selfishness, it's straightforward. Selflessness. Rigidity. Adaptability. Yeah, we don't stick on to our rules, we are adaptable. Judgmental. Valuing individuality. Correct. Angry. Yeah. Are you coming for device? Yeah, device. There is the other classroom for it. Oh, okay. Angry. Calm and cool. Yeah. Greedy. Satisfied and contented. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's a very good question. Greed we interpret as for the right purpose. If you are greedy to become, more God conscious, more spiritual, that is all perfect. For example, anger also can be used in the service of God. Like Hanumanji, without being angry, he cannot fight or he cannot burn the Lanka, right? So all these qualities can be used for the right purpose, right? If if your goal to be greedy is just for temporary purposes of just getting a promotion because I want to show off myself, then that is wrong. But if that purpose in a way is connected to a higher goal, is your spiritual goal, then it is fine. Mhm. Yeah. For example, I may not give a perfect answer. Mataji can add to that. But let me give you the example of Arjuna. When Arjuna was there in this world, he was the number one archer in the entire world. And he gained that skill by working day and night. It's not that he just, one day became like the perfect archer, right? So it's not wrong, but his purpose is clear. He want to rule the country in the best way and he want to protect the citizens. So if the goal is like that, right? The means can be appear greedy. It appears like that, but it's not actually. Mothers, you want to add anything? You want to add anything to it? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like Mataji said, if you do for Krishna, if your goal is to please Krishna or God, um, it's perfect. Anything you do is fine. Dovetail everything in the service. Yeah, dovetail means engage your energies in the service and pleasure of God. If that is it's just a perspective change. Correct. So sometimes people, when they don't meet their goal, they become depressed, they become worried, they get developed. So that will not be there because you try your best. But if you don't get, this is what Krishna wants for me to. This is what, right? You are still satisfied. You are not. You are trying your best, but you are not worried or sad for what you don't have. So that's how it is. Yes, however you get, you give your best, but if you don't get what you are getting, what you are aspiring for, you be understanding that this is what Krishna ordained for me, right? Mm. Mm. Correct, correct, yeah. So one thing we should understand is it's not in our hand. What we get is not in our hand. Huh? We have the adhikar, means the absolute right to perform duty, but we are not guaranteed for the result because that is in the hands of our destiny and you can say God, right? Hmm. That's exactly what we should avoid. Yeah, yeah, because you are not in control of everything. Your destiny, right? You may aspire to become an IAS officer, but it has to be also in your destiny, right? So you try your best. If you don't get, you don't feel disappointed because that's ultimately is not in your hand. What is in your hand is your best effort. Hmm. And you keep trying what next thing, right? So you move on. You don't get stuck in life because you don't achieve what you aspire to achieve. So that is the you know That's the clarity we develop with this knowledge of Gita, right? So there is a higher power, higher control, which is actually determining the destiny of everything, right? We don't control it. We only put our effort. We are like an instrument, right? Yeah. For example, when even Srila Prabhupada, when he started this movement, he started originally in India, right? Where he started in a place called Jhansi, and he was going all out, and movement was spreading. After 1 year, he had a setback where the place where he was doing the program was taken out from him, and he felt I'm only doing Krishna's service, and then why am I taken? Yeah, not wrong. Actually, he's doing the purpose of God, but then unless he was taken out from that, he would not have actually focused on coming to the West. So it has turned out to be a better thing. So sometimes we may not realize, we may not connect the dots at the time. In the bigger picture, there is a higher plan of God for you. So that is the hope we should have always. That I'm trying my best. If it's not happening, maybe there is something higher for me that God has a plan for. So I accept that God's will, right? So that is the understanding we develop, right? So we accept in the right spirit. That's the truth. It's not like my mental adjustment, right? It's the truth that if I'm doing my best, if I'm not getting what I want, it's still that is the that is best in my best interest. Hmm. And it's in my best interest because God is your father, right? How would a father would not be do anything bad for you, right? That's how. So especially the bhakti path is like that. It trains you in a loving relation with the God, right? Yep. Yep. That's how we take it, right? So you all heard the last session where the story of Kailash was it discussed? Okay. Anyway, that's a completely different topic. We'll not go into that then. Um, so here, it's a very similar story. Kailash is a um, like he's he was assisted by Narada Muni in various stages of his life, but he would not focus on becoming spiritual, taking to spiritual life. But ultimately, he was taught a lesson so that he was forced to take to spiritual life. Uh, we'll not go into that. We'll focus on current topic of Mrgari. Yeah. So here you read, right? So by the slight association of a devotee like Narada, one can be freed from the clutches of Maya. Hmm? So this is the theme of this session today. Yeah. So here we start the session. The story of Mrgari. A Mrgari is a hard-hearted hunter who became a humble-hearted devotee. So that is the story of Mrgari. So this hunter lived in the forest of Prayag in India. Hmm? And once he had this great fortune to meet Narada Muni. Narada Muni was on his way to take a bath, returning from Vaikunta. He was going to the confluence of Ganges and Yamuna to take his bath, at which time he was going through this Prayag forest. And this Mrgari hunter, he was there, he was hunting animals. And the way he hunts the animals, he would Like he would shoot an arrow to a deer and leave it half killed. He will not fully kill. So the animal would be flopping, in death pangs. He would do the same to birds, do to all the animals like that. So while Narada was walking on the forest path, he would see many animals like this, here and there, spread all over. Being a compassionate soul, a devotee of Lord, Narada becomes very much compassionate to these animals. So he would call out saying, who is this? Not call out. He would think, who is this foolish man who has committed this such great sin? It's a great sin because he could have just killed, but he didn't kill. He had left the animals half killed so that they die in agony. And that's a great sin because you're letting the animal suffer so much, right? Yeah. So you see here passionate and compassionate. So this is Nardamuni and this is the hunter here. The hunter, when Nardamuni, on his way, he would come and meet this hunter. He would see him. He would. The hunter looks, very dark. His eyes are bloodshot red. Right? He's like death personified. Hmm? Uh, yeah. Seeing him, Narada Muni entered deeper into the forest to approach him. As Narada passed through the forest, all the animals who were caught in the hunter's trap fled away. Narada Muni relieves these animals from these death pangs because he's a great devotee, has the potency to actually revive the life of these animals. So he would relieve. And to that, Mrgari becomes very upset because he was he has a lot of pleasure in half killing the animals, and somebody is coming in the way of his plans. Yeah, so he became very angry, and he was just about to call Narada vile names, but due to the influence of saintly Narada, just by seeing Narada, he could not use his words, right? The bad words. He couldn't utter blasphemies. Rather, with gentle behavior, he asked Narada, my dear sir, why have you come here while I am hunting? Have you strayed away from general path? Because you have come here, all the animals in my traps have fled. So Narada said, I am sorry. I have come to you to find my own path and to inquire from you. I have seen that there are many animals on this path. They're lying on the forest floor, half dead and flopping about. Who have committed these sinful activities, right? So Hunter, because he's such a sinful man, he has no guilt. That's what happens if we repeatedly commit a sin, a wrongdoing. We become non-guilty towards it, right? So he was not at all guilty. He says, "My dear law, no, yeah, yeah, it was done by me. If you are hunting all these poor animals, why don't you kill them at once?" This is the advice of Narada. Hmm? You half kill them and they're suffering in their death pangs. This is a great sin. If you want to kill an animal, why don't you kill it completely? Hmm? Because leaving them makes them suffer a lot. So to this hunter for the first time, using words like my dear Lord, the hunter replied, my name is Mrgari. Mrig Ari. Mrig means animal. Ari means the enemy. Mrgari is a person who is an enemy of animals. He takes pride in that. So he says, I am an enemy of animals. I am simply following the teachings of my father who taught me to half kill animals and leave them flopping about. When a half dead animal suffers, I take great pleasure in it. This is how sadistic pleasures are. I beg one thing from you only, Narada says. Please accept it. So the influence of a great saintly person is like that. Even though he is a hunter, if a hunter comes before you, may be afraid, and run away. But in the presence of saintly Narada, his heart was changed immediately. He's already, has the hint of his sinful activities now. So Narada asked for only one thing. What is it? Oh yes, sir. I shall give you whatever you like. The hunter said, if you want some animal skins, I know I have a lot of them at my home. I'm ready to give you. Right? Yeah. So Narada says, no, I don't want such things. I want something else. If you kindly grant it to me, I shall tell you. Right? Please, henceforth from tomorrow, whenever you kill an animal, please kill it completely. Don't kill half. Right? Don't leave it half dead. Hmm. So this he was shocked because that is his daily bread. My dear sir, what are you asking of me? What is the difference between half killing and full killing? Right? He didn't realize that. So if you half kill animals, the animal suffers great pain. Narada says this. And if you give too much pain to other living entities, you commit great sin. There is a great offense committed when you kill an animal completely, but the offense is much much greater when you half kill it. So indeed, the pain when you give, which you give half-dead animals, will have to be accepted by you in a future birth. This completely, you know, makes him realize the mistake he's doing. Right? That particular line, completely changes his perspective. Now he understands I am now liable to all the pain that I gave to. So this is how karma works. Whatever pain we give to others will have to come back to us. Mhm. Mm. Mhm. That's true. Hmm. But the act itself is, is sin, right? In this case. Yeah, unaware. For example, if you are unaware, still you put your hand on the fire, it will have the reaction. Hmm. Yeah. Still bad. Yeah. Yeah. But there is one advantage. If you are on Krishna conscious path, the reactions will be minimized, right? So you will be given a token reaction. May not be full reaction. Suppose you are to suffer a broken leg, you will get a token reaction of something else like a finger. That's the advantage if you are in this path. But if you don't, then you get full blown result. That's how it works. Yeah. But everybody has to go through the reactions, no matter, just like that's how nature works. The laws of nature work. Yeah, very good point. Thank you, Mataji. So I'll just speak out loud for everyone. Mataji is saying spirituality helps us give the tools to handle the situations better, right? Yeah, you have the right knowledge. You know there is a higher power in control of everything that's happening in our life, and whatever we go through, the pain is just a result of our past action. We accept that for our own, understanding. Otherwise, we feel, why is this to me? I'm all good, right? We think like that, but we don't know what we did in the past. Doesn't mean that we just feel that, oh, my life is like this only. It's not like that. Everything changes, right? So we accept it's our own doing, and that gives a lot of um, ownership of what we are, right? To take responsibility in our hand. So otherwise, generally we put blame on others. Something doesn't happen. You know, we put a blame on our friend, parents. I didn't get into IT because my father didn't join me in a good coaching college. Something or the other. We always try to put the blame on others. Pass the buck to somebody else. Once you understand the karma theory, once you understand the principle of God, who you are as a soul, and how karma works, like it gives a lot of perspective of life. It changes the way we see things, right? Because how all these are connected. Yeah. So let's move on to the story back. um, so how heart purification association makes the hunter a humble devotee. So this is the power of a great devotee. I'll tell the story of Lord Buddha. Even in the story of Buddha, lifetime of Buddha, so Buddha is a very compassionate soul. Hmm? He's also considered an incarnation of God. Wherever he is walking on the path, about 20 or so miles around him, people will be compassionate, very compassionate. People or animals, anything. For example, if an animal is hunting a deer and it just comes in the purview of the 20 miles, then they just both walk together from there. So there also a similar story happens. There was a person called Angulimal, I think, right? Angulimal, yeah. So he was a highway robber. He would hurt people, cut the fingers, and make a garland out of it. And he meets Buddha. He completely transforms. A similar story here. So Mrgari, although the hunter was very sinful, his heart became very softened. And he became afraid of his sins by virtue of his association with a great devotee like Narada. Until now, he doesn't know what is sin. He doesn't know what difference between half killing and full killing. But now he realizes his mistake. So yeah, those who are grossly sinful are not afraid of committing sins. But here we can see, because of his purification began in the association of a great devotee like Narada, the hunter became afraid of his sinful activities. Therefore, he replied, "My dear sir, from my very childhood I have been taught." So yeah, we discussed this. I am surrendering unto your feet. Please save me from all the reactions of my sinful activities, which I have committed in the past, and please direct me to the proper path so that I can be free. So this is now he is actually doing what? He is actually surrendering. It's a big step. Now he is ready to listen to Narada. A big change, right? So if you actually want to follow my directions, I can tell you. See, the guru would not instruct a person until he actually shows a level of commitment, or on the path of surrender. So if now he is realized, even Krishna, Arjuna, the conversation in the beginning, it was more, both of them are like friends, until the second chapter, seventh verse, when he, Arjuna clearly shows his surrender. Krishna would not start real instructions, right? So it's like that. So if you actually want to follow my directions, I can tell you the real path by which you can be freed from sinful reactions. So this is what a guru can do. A guru can completely relieve you of all sinful reactions. So I shall follow whatever you say without hesitation. The hunter agreed, right? He has a good chance. Now let's go through a couple of exercise questions. Although Mrgari was a cruel hunter, why did he not call bad names to Narada? Hmm? So the first is, he was afraid that Narada, being a sage, might curse him. No. He was not used to uttering any blasphemies in the past. No. He's a hunter. He would do that all the time. He preferred gentle behavior with all people despite being a hunter. No. He could not call ill names due to the saintly and spiritual influence of Narada. Yeah, that is the correct answer. Yeah. Mrgari was grossly sinful before. Then why did he become afraid of committing sins now? Right? Narada induced such fear in him by displaying the deadly hell that awaited Mrgari. That may happen, but no, he didn't do that. By holy company of Narada, his heart got cleansed. Therefore, he became afraid of sins. Right? So, some level of cleanliness of heart is required to be able to see, to feel guilt for the wrongdoings we do. Because he understood that he was causing great pain to poor animals. No, he didn't understand. He had accumulated huge amount of sins and was afraid of terrible. No, he is never afraid. It's only by the company of Narada his heart is transformed and cleansed. Yeah. So break the bow of sinful life. Lord will maintain you. So this is the first step. Break the bow of sinful life. So the first instruction that Narada gives to Mrgari, now he surrendered. He's ready to listen, right? So the first instruction he says is break your bow. That is the toughest instruction to Mrgari because that he considered as his livelihood and he has lived and that is his tradition from his parents and everybody. So, so you're asking me to break my bow? The hunter protested, but if I break it, what will be the means of my livelihood? Right? That's his livelihood. Hmm, that's interesting. So Narada says, don't worry about your livelihood. I shall send you sufficient grains. I shall take care of your maintenance. So here is an important lesson for us. So you can all repeat after me. The source of our income is not actually the source of our maintenance. Yeah, this is a statement from Prabhupada's purport as it is taken. So this is a very important lesson. If you ask any of the students, right now where many of you are here, why are you working or why are you studying? If you ask, they say, sir, I need a job. Why do you need a job? If we ask him, what does he say? Huh? I need money. I need money. And why do you need money? To earn my livelihood. To, uh, so people consider that their work actually maintains them. But then the question is, who is maintaining elephants in African jungle? Are they studying masters? Are they doing PhDs? So who is maintaining the elephants or Timingala, the largest animal, it eats almost 50 tons every day. How is that food supplied every single day? It's actually God is providing everyone. Not only you, your employer also. Even Elon Musk is actually maintained by God. His breath, his whatever he needs to live is all maintained by God. So it's actually the real maintainer is God in everybody's case, not just humans, animals. Everybody is maintained by God. Yeah. The every living being, from the great Brahma down to an insignificant ant, is being maintained by the Supreme Personality of God. So there is a statement called Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. So the one Supreme Being, Krishna, maintains everyone. Our so-called source of income is our own choice only. We think we are maintaining. That's only namesake, actually. If I wish to be a hunter, it will appear that hunting is the source of my maintenance. It appears externally. If I become a Brahmana and completely depend on Krishna, I do not conduct a business, but nonetheless my maintenance is supplied by Lord Krishna. The hunter was disturbed about breaking his bow because he was worried about his income. Narada Muni assured the hunter because he knew that the hunter was not being maintained by the bow but by Krishna. He knows very well. The devotee knows very well. So, being the agent of Krishna, Narada Muni knew very well that the hunter would not suffer by breaking the bow. He knows very well. There was no doubt that Krishna would supply him food. So we should all have that faith. God is the supplier in the past, now, and in the future. Yeah. That's exactly what happened to Mrgari also. They are also maintained by God, but they are going through their own cycle of karma, right? But at the same time, when we see a person suffering, we do not leave, we do not apply the theory of karma there. Hey, you're suffering because you have done something wrong in the past. We do our dharma. Our dharma is to see and be show our compassion to the living entities, right? But everybody is going through their own cycle of life. That's the fact. But you can see we come all the way and bring food and give it to the people here, and somehow or other they're all maintained. Otherwise, why are they there, right? But everybody, like I said, they have to go through their cycle. For example, we see humans who are carrying these animals, you know without considering their suffering, right? In India, on a small two-wheeler, he would carry like 20 hens in this side, 20 hens on the other side. He would be just rushing, and the poor animals were tied in the legs with their head down. You see that, so much suffering. Now think about the person who is doing that. Do you think he is worth treated better? Right? He's a human. He has the ability to understand the suffering, but he's not doing that. Hmm. Mhm. We should definitely help in the best way possible. Again, for example, um, sometimes if you give money, they will use that money to for drugs. Like we discussed this example in the past. So help in a way that they would not misuse it. A lot of these people were doing what they're doing, or the state they are in, because of their drug addiction, or some or the other you know very sinful activities they performed. Right. So we show compassion to the level it serves them in the best way. Yeah, we can give prasadam. Yeah, that's what we always try to do. So that's why when we come for Sankirtan, we distribute burritos and cookies, right? So that way they either the best they can do is to eat. That's all, and by that they actually get Krishna's mercy also, because that is prasadam offered to Krishna. So that, yeah. Okay, Mother, you want to answer that? Very good, Mother. Thank you. Yeah. So the Paramatma is along with them all the time, right, in their heart. So he's taking care. Yeah. We may not, in our perception, we may not understand how he's taking care perfectly. But yeah, we don't know the bigger picture. Yeah. But God is in charge, and he's, driving everybody lovingly in their life. No, that's not the lesson. That's complete. Yeah. We should do our duty, but understand we are not being served by the employer. He's not the real maintainer. Krishna is the maintainer. You know, if not this person, somebody else will maintain us. But we perform our duties, based on our skills. So that is, we have to use our skills in the service of God, right? So you earn that income and use in the service of God, right? So that is how you perform. You give your best. So it's not to make us lazy, by the way. So all this is to make us understand who is our true maintainer, right? Otherwise, we think, it seems Elon Musk is God, or Jeff Bezos is God. No, they are not. They are also maintained by God, like just like any of us. They are in a particular. They are playing their role. You are playing your role. That's all. Next life, he may be an employer under you. Exactly, right? So it all changes. It's all driven by God. He's the only controller. Yeah. Something else. Correct. Yeah. That's so reassuring, right? Yeah. So we are not dependent on anybody within this world. Yeah. Yeah. What will happen? A lot of people worry a lot. What will happen if I lose my job with H1B? Right? People, yeah, we don't need to worry. Krishna is the maintainer. He will, whatever happens in our life is in our best interest. Especially when you started your journey of Krishna consciousness, because he is very lovingly, closely guiding you. Right? You're all here giving your time. He's doing. You are taking one step. Lord is already taking 10 steps towards you. Yeah. So now Mrgari has heard him, and the first instruction is to break the bow. That's how Guru, sometimes he is very heavy. So the hunter then broke his bow and fell down at the feet of Narada. He has nothing else now to live. He's, the only thing he was living upon is now broken. So this is the process of initiation. Initiation means actual surrender. Even, Diksha, it's called. It means one surrenders one's life to a guru. So the disciple must surrender to the spiritual master, the representative of God, Krishna, right? So the spiritual master, being in the disciplic succession stemming from Narada Muni, is in the same category with Narada Muni. So guru is actually a representative of God in our life. So a person can be relieved from his sinful activity if he surrenders to the lotus feet of a person who actually represents Narada Muni. Yeah. Narada Muni gave instructions to the hunter after hunter surrendered. Yeah. Yeah. So now Narada gives these instructions, right? So do this, do this, do this, right? Let's read that. Just go to your home and distribute whatever money and valuables you have to the devotees and brahmanas. So all the sinful money that he has accumulated, he is now going to give it away. Then just come out and follow me wearing only one cloth, loin cloth. Construct a small thatched house on the river bank and sow a tulsi plant by that house. Just circumambulate the tulsi tree and every day taste one fallen leaf. Above all, always chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, as far as your livelihood is concerned, I shall send you grains, but you will only accept as much grains as you require for yourself and your wife. You see, the hunter had so much faith, he would just follow, right? Um, so, Narada Muni advised the hunter to adopt vanaprastha. Vanaprastha means when a grihastha who was earning his livelihood by working would stop and completely surrender and depend on God, right? So that is the vanaprastha stage. That is the stage now Mrgari entered. So yeah, so this is it. Krishna supplies all material necessities one for one who takes to Krishna consciousness. Now when Mrgari suddenly transformed into a devotee who would live in a simple thatched hut, you know, worship Tulsi every day, chant holy name of Hare Krishna all his time, right? Bowing down and praying, right? So this transformation was observed by the whole village. Everybody was, surprised. How can such a cruel person transform his heart, right? Yeah. So this is a powerful instruction, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 9:22. So Ananyas Chintayantam. I'll show you the verse. You can all repeat after me. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Pari Upasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. But those who always worship me, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, means fully concentrate and worship on me. Mam means Krishna is speaking this verse, right? So having no other object, right, means no other dependence except for God. Ye jana pari upasate, whoever does such a worship, pari upasate. Upasana means worship. Tesam nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Right? To them, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. There is no more reassurance than this. Right? In this world, nobody can give such guarantee, but Krishna gives that. So when Krishna says, I carry what they lack, he personally really takes care of that. And I preserve what they have. So whoever takes to Krishna consciousness is never a loser based on this. Yeah. So this is a principle of life, right? So these are the principles we learn, and that completely transforms the way we see our life. The principle should be that one should not want more than what is absolutely necessary. Narada Muni advises the hunter to accept only what is absolutely necessary for him and his wife. The devotee should always be alert because he's in this Vanaprastha ashram now and he's just not working. He's just given an instruction on how to lead his life. And Narada Muni confirms also that, now just seeing this hunter transformation, all the village people would think of visiting him. Now there is a saintly person we have to visit. And when you visit a saintly person, what do? You carry something, some fruits, rice, something, right? So every day now, a lot of visitors are visiting our saintly Mrgari, and he is getting lot of stuff. Yeah, yeah. So this is further instruction on the same. Narada then relieved, he gave the instruction and he left. So he relieved all the animal. Narada Muni relieved all the animal. You can see all the animals are walking away happily. Upon seeing Narada execute this miracle, the dark hunter was struck with wonder. He understood this person is not an ordinary person. After taking Narada to his home, he bowed down again at his feet. Yeah, he saw, he was very fortunate to meet such a great person. He realized that. So Narada returned to his place, and the hunter, after returning home, began to execute the instructions. So he just followed his guru as it is to the word, right? So this is what we discussed. All the villagers start giving, you know, bringing many things, and hunter would not keep anything more than what he needs. He just keeps whatever is necessary for him, and he would give away for other poor people in the village. So in this way, every day his maintenance was taken care just by worshipping the Lord and chanting Hare Krishna. Yeah, yeah. So this is another instruction by Prabhupada here. It is the duty of the public to present a gift to a saintly person, Vaishnava or Brahmana, when going to see him. Every Vaishnava is dependent on Krishna, and Krishna is ready to supply all life's necessities provided a Vaishnava follows the principles set forth by the spiritual master. If we follow the instructions, Krishna will completely take care of our life. Yeah. So now we read this. Let's go through this. What does breaking of the bow by Mrgari denote? Stopping of killing of animals which he used to before, stopping all sinful life and surrendering to Guru. It represents the process of initiation, yes. It means anybody like Mrgari can be relieved from his sinful activity if he surrenders to a representative of, of Narada Muni. What do you think? All? Yeah, all of them. Breaking a bow specifically means surrender. So, in that sense, this is more a good answer. What does accepting in charity as much grains as one requires for oneself and one's wife indicate? It means one has become dependent on society and has become a parasite. No. It means that one has taken to sannyasa order and renounced the world. No. It means that one has become old and invalid and has to live on others' money. No. It is the process of renunciation in the stage of vanaprastha. Yeah, this is the one. So in Kali Yuga, it may not be practical in the way it is mentioned here. So what Srila Prabhupada mentioned is you continue to preach in whatever stage of life you are, right? Share this wisdom of Gita, Bhagavatam to people around you. So that is the duty we are focused on, right? We don't necessarily go to forest or renounce ourselves, from the society. In fact, by being in the society, you can serve better. Like we are having a good discussion now. Somebody is cooking. All of this is happening because we are within the society. We are not just going away from the society. From the following statement, what do we learn? Sometimes a devotee will not even bother to construct a cottage. He will simply go to live in a mountain cave. One may live in a cave, in a cottage beside a river, in a palace, or in a big city like New York or London. In any case, a devotee can follow the instructions of spiritual master and engage in devotion service by watering the tulsi plant and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So the most important, it's not about external renunciation. What you give up externally, that's not the focus. The main thing is renunciation of the heart. How attached are you to things, of material nature? Yeah. So if you give up that and follow the instructions of Guru, right? Chanting Hare Krishna, following the regulative principles, helping, being a compassionate instrument in the hand of Guru and Krishna. So those, if you follow, doesn't matter where you are situated uh, in the right consciousness. Hmm. So a devotee of Lord should accept a simple mode of life but focus on Guru's order. Correct? Watering Tulsi and chanting Hare Krishna is primary. Living in whatever condition, simple or opulent, is immaterial. Somebody may have, a lot of riches. We have Birlas in India. They're all devoted, 100%. Right? Even now, Ambani's family, they're very devoted. His son comes to our temple. He chants Hare Krishna. Lot of rich people in Mumbai. They're all devoted people, very pious and devoted. So you don't need to necessarily reject opulence that you were given by the Lord. If it comes, you accept it naturally and use that in the service of God. That's the most important principle. A devotee should not even construct a cottage, but should live in open sky near river. Such is the austerity of Lord Shiva. No, it's a misapplication of principle. The principle is that one should be renunciant at the heart, should not be attached to material things, and engage everything in the service of God, whatever situation it may be. You may live opulently or in a poor condition, doesn't matter. No external, it's not about externals. A devotee needs to live in cities like New York or London because there one can live in a palace and practice Krishna consciousness. No, it's not again being attached to either poverty or renunciation or opulence. Neither are correct. Yeah. So we learned many lessons. Narada Muni is glorified by Parvata Muni as touchstone. So Parvata Muni is another great saintly person. So he is his friend. So one day Narada Muni goes to Parvata Muni and asks him, "Chalo, let's go on a. I will show you one of my disciple, in the earthly planet." So they both, walk together to the hunter's home. So the last time he came on the hunter's path, he saw so many half-dead animals. This time when he came, you can see here the hunter is now completely transformed devotee with a devotional attire and chanting beads. And while he was walking, he was about to receive his guru. He was so happy to see him because he has transformed his life completely. On his way, he would find some ants on the way, so he would make sure he would not step on them. He became so transformed. He doesn't want to hurt even an ant. The same person who was hurting and half killing animals. So all of this is seen by Parvatamani, and he tells to his friend, "My dear Narada, you are like a touchstone." Right? A touchstone is an object that can, whatever object it comes in contact, it completely transforms it into a jewel. Right? So, and Narada Muni did this to many lives, many people. Right? He did this to Dhruva Maharaj. You know, uh, many great people. Yeah, in Bhagavatam speaks about them. So here is a statement, right? Although the hunter formerly took great pleasure in half killing animals, since he became a great devotee of the Lord, he was not prepared to give pain even to ant. Yeah. So he received them very nicely, washed their feet, took water to drink, took water to them to drink, and finally both he and his wife touched the water with their heads. After this, they began to feel ecstasy and began to dance and sing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeah. So they raised their hands and danced with their cloths flying. So they were so happy. When the two great sages saw this ecstasy of love of God manifest in the body of Hunter, Parvatmani told Narada, "Yeah, so you are a touchstone, for by your association, even a great hunter has turned into a great devotee." Yeah. So there is a verse in Skanda Purana which states, "My dear Devarshi, you are glorious, and by your mercy, even the lowest creature, a hunter of animals, also becomes elevated to the path of devotion and attained transcendental attachment for Krishna." See, similarly, Srila Prabhupada, when he came to the Western world, the first people who he taught the Krishna consciousness to, they're all hippies. Mataji has, direct, uh, she can tell more stories about how Srila Prabhupada transformed all of them. Yeah. So he's a touchstone as well. Yeah, you're all ready for Prabhupada actually. Yeah. So when the student is ready, the teacher is sent. When a Srila Prabhupada comments, when a touchstone touches iron, it turns iron into gold. Yeah, Parvatmani called Narada Muni a touchstone because by his touch, the hunter who was lowest among men became an elevated and perfect Vaishnava. Right? So we should highly respect such great saintly Vaishnavas, amidst us, who have, completely given their life for the path of Krishna consciousness. So Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he is the spiritual master of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, who is the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada. Hmm? Actually, father of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He is also one of the greatest Vaishnavas in our line of teachers. So he said that the position of a Vaishnava can be tested by seeing how good a touchstone he is. Hmm? That is by seeing how many Vaishnavas he has made during his life. Yeah. So a devotee, like we're all trying to become that. So a Vaishnava or a devotee should be a touchstone so that he can convert others to Vaishnavism by his preaching. It's not like a conversion of caste, right? It's like transformation of heart. That is, so that's exactly what happened to Mrgari. That's the kind of transformation a Vaishnava is supposed to do, right? Yeah. So even though people may be fallen like the hunter, yeah. So this is the mood of our, our line of teachers. So that is the mood followed by Srila Prabhupada. That is the mood followed by his disciples and his grand disciples, right? Like all of us right here. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised his followers to increase the number of Vaishnavas because you know this lifestyle makes us live in harmony with God, and there is nothing better. It is simple, it is happy, it gives holistic understanding of life, and whatnot. Yeah. So this is also the wish of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that everyone should become a Vaishnava and Guru. Right? It's not like a particular caste people are gurus or like that. In Vaishnavism, as given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to all of us, everybody who follows the instructions of Gita, Bhagavatam, they can all become a guru. So, following the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his disciple instruction, one can become a spiritual master. For the process is very easy. One can go everywhere and anywhere to preach the instructions of Krishna. So, Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's instructions. Therefore, the duty of every Vaishnava is to travel and preach the Bhagavad Gita. So, either in his country or a foreign country. This is the test of Sparshamani or the touchstone, following in the footsteps of Narada Muni. Yeah. So Narada now inquires the hunter devotee, are you getting your foodstuff regularly? So hunter says, you send so many people. He's attributing directly that to Narada Muni. And they bring so many eatables that we cannot begin to eat them. Yeah, that's all right, Narada replied. Whatever you are getting is all right. Now just continue your devotion service in that way. So in that way, Narada blessed his disciple to continue his Krishna consciousness, went on his journey. Yeah. So this is another beautiful verse. Shushrusho Shraddha Vasudeva Kadaruchi Shan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nisevanat. Or twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the message of Vasudeva. Yeah. This is a secret formula, I would say. So, if you want to advance spiritually, one of the fundamental thing is to serve a person who has dedicated his life in this path, right? To by rendering service in one way or the other, whatever they need, we can find out and help them, and that develops, you know, our own Krishna consciousness and our own taste for hearing, this Krishna Katha, right? Or Krishna's teachings and Krishna's life. Yeah. So here we saw Narada Muni came as an instrument in the hands of God to teach this lesson to Mrgari, right? Here is a summary of all the points. The servant of God come to propagate God consciousness, and intelligent people should cooperate with them in every respect. Right? You can say Jesus is like that, right? He's a servant of God. Srila Prabhupada is a servant of God. So they all come here to help us to, to spread the God consciousness, so all of us can benefit and start our journey in the path. And what is our duty? We should just cooperate. So by serving the servant of God, one can please God more than by directly serving God. So this is another great principle, right? So we should serve the devotees of Lord. So that's a great service. And Lord is very pleased by that. and Lord blesses us, right? So Lord is more pleased when he sees that his servants are properly respected, because his servants risk everything for the service of Lord and are very dear to the Lord. Right? Yeah. So the servants, I means the great teachers, right? So they give up everything for God. Like Srila Prabhupada, he went all the way to the West without bothering about any of his personal concerns or race or anything. Why? It is just simply to be a compassionate instrument in the hand of Lord, right? And his spiritual master. So by serving such people like Srila Prabhupada or his disciples, Lord is extremely pleased and he will bless us. You will see you surging in devotions or spiritual journey very fast by serving a devotee of the Lord. Hmm? So another thing is, by serving the servants of God or the devotees, one gradually gets the qualities of such servants. Hmm? And thus one becomes qualified to hear the glories of God. So the eagerness to hear about God is the first qualification of a devotee eligible for entering the kingdom of God. Yeah. So we not only get the affinity to hear the messages of Vasudeva, but we also get the strength to act on what we have heard. Right? So this is a very powerful instruction. You see, Arjuna, he was very confused in the battlefield, and Lord Krishna was giving instructions. But if suppose Arjuna was not, you know, not following the instructions, it wouldn't be the same. So to even gain that affinity to, hear the instructions, right? Um, that also comes through, serving Vaishnavas. So it's very important. So we're all here, but not everybody may get the message equally. It depends on our surrender, right? So the more we are surrendered, to the instructions of God, the better we become. Rendering service to the liberated devotees gives neophytes the strength to resist their lower conditional nature and to stick to the higher pure ideal of pleasing God. So devotees who neglect to keep the company with superior Vaishnavas, however, are unable to control their lower nature and their impure faith, leads them away from the path of pure devotion to the Lord. Yeah. So as much as possible, we should take the association of advanced devotees. That is the message, and follow their instructions and lifestyle. Yeah, that's all we have. So we learned how the transformation of herd happened in the life of Mrgari, the hardcore hunter, through the association of devotees. Yes. Speak little louder. Yeah. 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 Just by coming once in a while like this, we learn these principles. They stick around in our head, and we try to follow those in our life. Yeah. Correct. So the knowledge has to be transformed, right? It has to bring realization in your heart. And that happens when we practice yoga. The yoga means the chanting for us, right? So only when knowledge, the theoretical knowledge becomes a relation in our heart, only when we chant. Yeah. So that develops our conviction. So that's why theory and that practice both are equally important. Yeah. Any questions? Any other questions? Within. What? I didn't understand the difference. Krishna or Krishna? Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. But I still didn't grasp the difference between the way you said Krishna or Krishna. Krishna or Krishna. Okay. Krishna or Krishna. Oh, okay. You want to say one? Yeah, Krishna is what we say, not Krishna. But one time, one person, a Sanskrit scholar, asked Srila Prabhupada, your disciples sometimes they're not pronouncing the mantras correctly. Oh, you? Yeah, I was telling another example, Mataji. So one, Indian Sanskrit scholar asked, "Hey, some of your disciples are not chanting properly, mantras." To that, Prabhupada said, "Their pronunciation may not be perfect, but their renunciation is perfect." That's more important. That's one of the heart, right? Yeah, yeah. Yes. So in the seventh chapter, there are references to other, not specific names, but other Anya Devatas are mentioned. Uh, they're all parts and parcels of Krishna only. Yeah. Ananyas, not Anya Devata. What is the verse? I will give you the reference. Okay. Yeah. So the point is, worshipping them, Krishna says, is an indirect worship. Worshipping Krishna is a direct worship. So, for example, there is a prime minister and there are cabinet ministers, right? You can, if you have something to, achieve, like you want something to be done, you can achieve through the cabinet ministers, or if suppose you have a direct access to the prime minister, you can directly access prime minister. That is a better way than going through the cabinet minister, right? Because the cabinet minister is also empowered by the prime minister, right? The head of the state. So if you have direct access, you better directly go there, right? All these other demigods, they're called demigods, they achieve their powers. They're all agents of God, right? They're all serving specific departments. Like somebody is like irrigation, somebody is like home affairs. They're all various departments that exist, just like in a cabinet ministry. They're specifically empowered to handle those departments. Uh, Lord Shiva is, yeah, he's considered a demigod, but he's also a transformation of the Supreme Lord, like milk and curd. From milk comes curd, right? After, um, acidification, right? Yeah, it's a transformation. It's the same personality, but slightly different. There is a mixture of, you know, there is a mixture of modes in the presence in the personality of Lord Shiva. But potency wise, they're one source, sourced in one. Yeah. But the demigods, other demigods like Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, they're all jivas. Lord Shiva is Shambhu. Shambhu is a transformation of Vishnu Tattva only. Like the there is Jiva Tattva, there is Vishnu Tattva, right? Vishnu Tattva means the personality of God, like Lord Rama, Narsingadev, or all the various incarnations actually come from the Vishnu Tattva, right? They're all sourced in, as per Bhagavatam, they're all sourced in the source incarnation, Lord Krishna. He is the source incarnation, source of all the incarnations. But all these other demigods, they are like empowered jivas, like you and me. You are, we have different powers than God, right? For example, God can create universes. We can create, universal models, for example, right? Something like that. So we are jivas. Some of the jivas can be empowered to become departmental in charges. They are called demigods, right? Indra, Varuna, Vayu. Indra is a position. Purandara is the personality who is currently the Indra. After Purandara, Bali will be the next Indra. So there is a cycle for them based on their karma, right? So whoever is eligible to the post, Hanumanji is becoming something else in the next iteration of demigod leadership. So that changes. So every Manvantara, the rulers, all these demigods change, and that happens 13 times in a year, in the day of Brahma, and it's all in trillions of years. Yeah. Any other questions? Was there an evolution? Okay. My understanding from Nectar of Devotion is that there is a fixed position in the spiritual world for every jiva. Their swarupa. There is a specific swarupa for every jiva in the spiritual world. When they come to the material world, they go through all these various transformations based on their karmic cycle. But when they go back, they have a fixed service to Krishna that they render in their specific spiritual body. That was my understanding. That's my understanding. You know better. Jai. Um, I don't have my beats. Did everybody have beats? We'll chant one round and end the class. Yeah, we'll end the class.